Now, a lot of what I want to say about systems and technology, I've actually integrated in the steps bringing us to where we are right now. Your accounting systems, the technology that you use to run your business. Basically, the advice that I want to give you here, and what I want you to keep in your mind as you start putting together your business, deciding the software, the hardware you're going to use, you want to look at a couple different things. One, you want to look at compatibility. How compatible are your systems with each other? If you have a POS system, right? If you're taking sales somewhere, does that speak to your accounting system? How does your accounting system speak to your credit card processing? How easy is it to process credit cards? Do you have terminals and you can swipe, or do you have to have the customer sitting there while you punch in numbers, right? What systems are you using? How compatible are they with each other? And how far can they go? How far can you grow with that system? There's also the trade-off a lot of times between looks and functionality. There's a lot of flashy looking systems out there that don't work so well. There's systems that work very well, but maybe they're not the most aesthetically pleasing. What's important where that system is going to be employed? There's also these days a huge trend towards cloud-based systems, running software from the cloud. So rather than install it in my computer, I'm going to run it in the cloud. Pros and cons to this. And the company that I run today, I founded it in the cloud. I've always run it in the cloud. It has always been cloud-based. That has helped me tremendously because of the nature of my company. I travel a lot and I can walk into any place on earth that's got a computer, and I can instantly, as long as it's got internet connection, I can bring up all of my programs and I can operate my computer, my company that way. In fact, in the early days of my business, I was living overseas when I incorporated it. And when I would come to America on business trips, I made the Mac shop my office. I would just go into the Apple store, right? And I'd sit down at their computers and work all day. And I would do that for a couple days in a row. And after the second or third day, when they were going for coffee, they'd say, "David, do you want one?" Right? Because I was just kind of like part of the staff. They knew I was there doing my business, okay? Because I had all my accounts in the cloud. Having said that, I have suffered in some functionality by having some of my accounts in the cloud. Cloud-based software sometimes is not as advanced as the desktop version, right, or the server-based version, and I've suffered where that's concerned as well. I've had to make the trade-off, and I've chosen the one that allows me to do business anywhere from any computer. Also, I'm a Mac guy. I use Apple computers and things like that. Well, what if I'm stuck somewhere without my Apple computer, where there isn't an Apple computer? Because I use cloud-based software, I can pull it up on any computer system. Okay, so you gotta, again, context, strategy, structure. Look at what you're doing. Choose a strategic approach to your software, and then choose the software that fulfills the strategy that you've decided on, the software and the hardware. And my last little note, my little free bonus is take advantage of the free software out there as much as you can. Credit card readers like Square that technically operate for free. And you get the merchant processors coming in and saying, "Oh, but you're paying 2.75%. Yeah, you are, but you're actually saving a lot too by not having other monthly fixed costs or not having those contracts or things like that. Take advantage of free software that maybe has a slightly higher variable cost, right, as opposed to higher fixed costs. Because in the beginning of your business particularly, business is uncertain. If you can keep costs to only accruing when you're doing business, a variable cost, then you can really alleviate some headache and stress from yourself. So take advantage of what's out there that's free, as long as it's not going to pose a problem for you in the future when it comes time to change over. This brings us to the final thing that we want to talk about in this module and the conclusion of Module 4 and of this course. I want to talk about the bricks and clicks, right? The bricks being where you operate, and the clicks, how you set up your online, your mobile, your digital presence. First of all, your office, your storefront, your place of business, make sure that you consider what is really required from this location. I'm a big fan of virtual offices, especially in the beginning. There's lots of companies out there that offer virtual offices. You can work out of your home because it's cost effective, and yet for the image and credibility and accessibility of your business, you've actually got an office building that you can use when you need to. Also, just the difference in having a physical address as opposed to a P.O. box, which with a virtual office, you'll have a physical address. This goes a long way with creditors, with suppliers, with customers, because they view you as having a solid physical location. The location of your physical location, the location of your office, are customers going to have to visit you? Do they need to visit you? If you're in retail like I am, the location is absolutely everything. If you're a professional whose customers are going to come and see them, is your location accessible? And is it near your target market? Does it have proper parking? Don't just look for the cheapest office out there or reasonable rent. Your customers don't know what you're paying. Your suppliers don't know what you're paying. Okay? The rent involved is not something that's a factor to them. But where your office is, if it's a shop, if it's a store, where your store is, the accessibility of it is night and day difference, can mean night and day difference between success and failure. In my business, in retail, one side of the street gets all the traffic, one side of the street gets none. The street up to here is where everybody goes. 5 feet more, right? 1 meter more, 1.5 meters more, that's it. Shoppers don't go up there. Okay, so you see all of these shops doing business, so you see one vacant right here, you go, well, I'll take it. Well, the reason it was vacant is because this last shop is where the shoppers stop. They don't go to that one right there. It makes all the difference in the world. I could go on forever about this in terms of different businesses, and of course we don't have time for that here. So you need to use common sense, and you need to do your own research, and you need to know, what do I need out of a location? And is this location going to give that to me? The website. Okay, so now let's move on to the clicks. Your business in this day and age really should have a website. Okay, you need a website. You need a web presence. Now, does it need to be a commerce-based website, where people can actually do transactions with a shopping cart and all that? Or is it more of an informational website, right? In some cases, with B2B, maybe your website page is even locked. People go to your website and they got to put in a code to get in. Okay? Depending on the nature of your business, your website will serve different purposes, but you really do need to get one. And you should get one as early on as possible. There's lots of great tools these days. I love Shopify for a commerce-based website. If you don't need it to be a commerce-based, you can simply go with Wix. Although with Wix, you can also pay and get a shopping cart added onto it. So remember, your website is going to change. It's going to grow. Your website is clearly not set in stone. In talking about the website, one thing that I always like to say is what you get out of your first website is your first website tells you what you want in a website. Okay? So don't spend too much money on it. Don't spend too much money on it. Before it's done, you're going to be saying, actually, what I really need is this. What I really need is that. And that's why I like working with these companies that allow you to really kind of build your own websites within the parameters that they offer, because that allows your website to be much more dynamic. What's important is that you have a website. If it's going to be functional, commercial, if it's going to do things, you might need to have it designed. Okay? If it's informational, it's easy to put one up there these days and have it up and running. One of the most important things about a website is that even if you think that there's not a lot of need for it now, you really don't know how vital to your business your website might be 3, 5, 10 years down the road. And the thing about it is once you purchase your domain name, you register that domain name, the longer that domain name has been registered, the better it does in search engine, in searches, right? In browser searches. So you're searching for something, the longer you've been there, the higher rating you get. So you really want to get into the website ASAP. Don't leave that for down the road. purchase your domain name, register your domain name, and put something up there, even if it's just a coming soon. Put something up there right away. So whether you're launching an e-business and you know that the website is going to be integral, or you're launching a business where you're not quite sure how digital media, digital, mobile, and social media is going to play into it, it's good to understand that in the world that we currently operate, you're going to operate in both. It might be 99% here, 1% here. It might be 99% here, 1% here. But you're going to be operating in both. You need to have both up and running, active. You need to concern yourself with both. So make sure that you pay attention to both the physical side of your business and the digital, the mobile, the social, the online aspect of your new venture. Well, thank you for attending this course on the essentials of entrepreneurship. It's been a pleasure to guide you through it, to take you through what I see as just the macro overview of the entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial process. I hope that through this, you've been able to identify some strengths that you have, and you can see where you've already done some things right and you're properly set off on the road. But at the same time, I hope that you've also been made aware of some issues that maybe you hadn't considered, or you realize you really need to tighten up or improve or get some more information on before you invest much more time, effort, or money into a particular project or venture. Entrepreneurship is an incredible world. It is not for the faint of heart. But it's a labor of passion. It's a labor of love. And for those of us who find ourselves entrepreneurs, I don't think there's anything else we'd rather do. I recently heard of entrepreneurs defined as those crazy people who'd rather work 80 hours a week for themselves so they don't have to work 40 hours a week for someone else. And if you think that sounds like you, then I look forward to seeing your company on the market and seeing you as a prosperous and successful